Okay, campers, rise and shine, and don't forget your booties because it's cold out there. That's right, woodchuck chuckers, it's Groundhog Day. Let's see here. After this, a little background music today. What an appropriate movie for this year. All right. Considering I wake up each day hoping that I won't be stuck in this hellish Trump presidency, but it's still happening. It still goes on. My name is Paul Roth. I'm in LA, and this is Paul and YouTube in the morning. Let's see here. I'll turn this down a little bit lower. Okay, so this is my daily web show. I'm gonna go right into my dislikes segment. Watch out for that first step. It's a doozy. Let's start off by talking about hashtag no dapple. Police arrested 76 people at Standing Rock to clear the way for the Dakota Access Pipeline because Indigenous people continue to be victims of our country's genocidal policies toward them. Yay. Link in the description to an article about this. I dislike this. Everybody should dislike this. What else we got? The fight to flip senators to vote no against Betsy DeVos for education secretary might have stalled out at 50-50. And if it stays stuck at 50-50, voting yes or no against Betsy DeVos, then Mike Pence has the ability to overrule all the votes and make his own choice as to what's going to happen with that. I hope that he doesn't choose to do that. I hope that we get to flip another senator. I'm going to have a link to that in the description of this video as well. But dang. In the chat, I see we've got Chris Lawrence. Hi, Chris. Woo! Mark Hilton asks, what is Groundhog Day? Oh, no. None of these references will make any sense to you. Steve Terry says, good morning, Paul. Hi, Steve. I haven't seen you on here. No More Heroes. Good morning to you. Yes. Mark Hilton asks, Mike Pence could overrule the vote. Yes. If it gets stuck at 50-50, senators voting yes or no for Betsy DeVos, then I believe Mike Pence could choose to give her the yes. He could break the tie. Again, there's a link to the article, one article of the many. They read it about this in the description below. What else do I dislike? Those are the big things. Those are the big things. A small thing that I dislike, on the grand scheme of things, it's tiny and inconsequential. But there were new photos released of the upcoming Iron Fist series on Netflix, where Danny Rand looks just scrawny and unimpressive, and it really kind of reaffirms my annoyance with the fact that Marvel decided to stick with a white savior storyline for Iron Fist on Netflix. They could have gone another way. They could have gone with an Asian American person. They could have gone any number of other ways. They could have played with the diaspora of people who are immigrants, whatever. So I dislike that as well. And honestly, I could talk about, God, I looked through my Twitter timeline. I could talk about a dozen more things that I dislike, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that for this show. So let's move on to the likes. Speaking of Groundhog Day, Mark Hilton, that is a movie that came out in the 1980s starring Bill Murray, and it still holds up, and I still like it. I tend to watch it every year on this day, February 2nd, which is Groundhog Day in the United States. And it's ridiculous that we listen to predictions of a groundhog as to the future of our weather, but we're also a country that has Donald Trump as president. So you don't trust us. Don't trust us to make good choices. Let's see here. I've started following at TinyCareBot on Twitter, and I recommend it. It's great. You get little self-care reminders throughout the day. And there's also a new hashtag for this month. I think it actually might be a recycled hashtag, but it's hashtag 28 Days of Black Cosplay. It's beautiful. All the cosplay I'm seeing on that hashtag is just, it's so great. I love it. Let's see here. Let's move on to my learning segment. What have I learned? Well, I I don't want to thank Trump and Spicer, but I did take their flubs as occasion to go back to the Wikipedia page and read up some more on Frederick Douglass to refresh my memory. I knew that he was an abolitionist, but I didn't know very many details about him. And I'm still not like well educated on Frederick Douglass. I am not. But I did look through the Wikipedia page and realize how his contributions are going to be more and more. I really like the fact that there's one anecdote about how a young African-American starting off asked him for advice, and his advice to the young African-American was agitate, agitate, agitate. It's good advice. Helping. For my helping segment, my friend Bunny at Witchy Buns, at WITCHYBUNS, at Witchy Buns on Twitter. She was afraid that she might be having some seizures when she tries to sleep, and she's not sure because there's no one around to see her and watch over her. Obviously, I'm concerned about my friend having seizures, and my suggestion to her, I hope this was helpful, my suggestion was that she could try turning on one of these Google Hangout live stream type things, point it at herself, keep it private, like don't invite anybody to it, but just let it run overnight because it can go for up to 8 hours. So I hope that works out for her if she does that. Sorry, for them. I hope it works out for them if they do that. Let's see here. In the chat, Mark Hilton says, apparently Trump has defended that Muslim ban with we're going to straighten it out, okay? I saw reports on that, and I also saw some reports from Washington insiders who say that he might be trying to implement additions to his Muslim ban, where he also bans people from other countries like Colombia, South America, in order to make it seem like he's not just banning Muslims. Oh, I hate Trump. Hashtag Trump is normal. Hashtag resist. Hashtag wake me up from this horrible nightmare. Let's see here. Updates. I got a formal job offer. I'm delighted that my interview with the apartment managing apartment managing company went so well that they made me a formal job offer. I've signed all the paperwork, and as soon as this show is over, I'm going to drive over there and hand over my paperwork, and theoretically in a week I would become a apartment manager. Fingers crossed that it all works out. And then plans. My plans for today, I'm going to take a break from the internet and I'm going to explore Griffith Park with my friend Rachel. Griffith Park is an enormous sprawling park. It's basically just directly north above me. It includes the Griffith Park Observatory, a beautiful telescope observatory, and it includes the old LA Zoo. It's kind of like a little touristy place you could check out, and the new Los Angeles Zoo. I don't know what we're going to explore, but we're going to explore. And that is everything for this episode of Paul and YouTube in the morning. I hope that you like my new thumbnail that I'm going to be attaching onto this video. I did, in fact, rip it off blatantly from Troy and Abed in the Morning from the Community TV show. Denise brings up that Trump also talked about sending troops into Mexico to deal with the cartels. There's a little bit of apocrypha about that. That might be true, that might not be true. Everybody who's in government is denying it, but of course, if it actually happened, they would also probably try to deny it so as to forestall a war. So I don't know if that's true, but like the fact that it is believable, the fact that it is believable about Trump also says bad things about him. And that would be a horrible way to end this. So I'm going to end this by, as usual, putting the camera onto my dog here. Hey, Drew. Drew is still sleepy. Aw, there she is. And I think this time I'm going to actually leave the camera on Drew when I say, tomorrow will be even better. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and I will see you and you will see me tomorrow. Bye.